This is Sick and Wrong, America's #1 source for antisocial commentary. Brought to you by the Reach Around Foundation.
Hey there. Welcome to Sick and Wrong, the world source for antisocial commentary. I'm one of your hosts, D. Simon.
I'm your other host, Lance Wackerly.
That's right, Lance. We're the world source for antisocial commentary because of all the fan mail we're getting from like Europe and other countries from around the world, although we have yet to get someone from the land down under in Australia.
Yeah, we do a lot of stories about Australia. We should get some listeners down there.
Dude, there's some sick and wrong activity down there, so
Yeah.
I'm hoping we can get a correspondent over there. This is podcast 19. We've almost hit 20, and we're inching towards that landmark 25 podcasts.
Yeah, why is it 25 that's the big number, not 20?
I don't know, because it's like quarter of 100 podcasts.
All right. The silver anniversary?
Yeah, it's the silver anniversary of Sick and Wrong Podcast. We'll have to do like a special show for that one.
Yeah. We'll do it from the toilet.
Something like that. Well, anyways, how you doing? How was the weekend?
Weekend was good. Down in L.A.
Oh, yeah.
Or as some people call it, Hell-A.
That's what I call it.
I like it down there.
Yeah, God, I can't stand it. Did I learn something hard this weekend? I learned this the hard way. One thing you should not do during sexual intercourse with your girl is talk like Carl from Sling Blade. Seriously, it's not an aphrodisiac. It does not make her flow like a river. Mid-intercourse, just do not talk like Carl from Sling Blade.
Did you use a specific line from Sling Blade?
No, we were like, I was in missionary position.
I like your French fried potatoes.
That's what I was saying. It was along those lines. I was in missionary position. We're just kind of going at it, and the spirit just kind of took over me, the Carl Sling Blade spirit, and I was just like, so I grabbed her breast, and I was like, I like them French fried potatoes. And she got all mad about it.
Put some mustard on them.
Well, she kind of got mad about it.
Did you put some mustard on them?
Well, my own special kind of mustard. Looks more like mayonnaise. But it was after she had, like, you know, she had just gotten really upset at me.
Jumped off you?
Well, no, she was just like, stop it. She's like, I hate when you do that. And all this time I thought it was like one of our little, whispering sweet nothings. I whisper sweet things from Sling Blade.
Grunt sweet nothings from Sling Blade.
Dude, you know what? If she continues on like this, I'm not even going to say any of my lines from Silence of the Lambs. I'm not even going to tell her to put the lotion on her skin.
Well, she might get the hose again, though. You don't have to tell her about it.
Oh, she's going to get the hose again. Believe me.
Not if she has anything to say about it.
Believe me. Well, anyways, this is going to be a great podcast today. There's so many articles. There was like a wealth of articles.
A bunch of it all happened today. It was like,
Yeah, it was a slew of sick and wrong articles.
Synchronicity, we're doing the podcast today and all these articles come out.
Yeah, it was really fortuitous. So
people should know we post the podcast on Sunday, but we record it on Wednesday, so there might be a little confusion.
Quit revealing our secrets.
Yeah, but they're gonna know when we're saying that all these stories came out today and we're doing the podcast. So I'm just
You're shattering the illusion.
I'm getting out in front of the rumor. That's what politicians do with their spin and everything. You reveal the fact before the general media gets a hold of it. That's what I'm doing.
I guess, but I think people really think that we're like doing this live or something because they don't understand what a podcast is.
Hey, internet retards, podcasts are not live.
Not at all. That's why we sound so damn good. There was a lot of stuff that happened in the news today and this week. A couple things in general that don't quite make they don't quite form like a sick and wrong article. Like they're not necessarily sick and wrong, but they're funny and they definitely merit mentioning.
They merit mentioning. They merit mentioning.
One thing I read today that definitely elicited a chuckle is, did you hear about the band manager, the Great White band manager?
Great White, Rhode Island.
He got 4 years in prison.
How long ago did that happen? The Rhode Island Great White Inferno.
I think it was like a few years ago. Wasn't it like 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
I can't remember if it was 2 or 3, or it wasn't 1. It was
just
more than
a quick recap for people that foreign people that might not know who Great White is,
or foreign people who might still think Great White is a really cool band.
Yeah, I wonder.
Here's the first update. Great. If you're, why were these people going to a Great White show? They were over like 8 years ago.
Because they're inbred.
They were over when they were popular.
They weren't cool. I was thinking about this. It's like Great White was never that cool of a band to begin with. I always used to get them confused with that band. There's Great White, there's White Lion, and then there's White Snake.
Right. And all three of those bands are
Sucked.
they're the bands that people who just don't understand what good music is.
I mean, dude, but there are other hair metal bands that were way
good.
better.
Yeah.
I'm not saying good, but they were just better. Like, I'd rather listen to fucking Quiet Riot than Great White.
I'd rather listen to Cinderella than Great White.
I'd rather listen to Stryper.
Well, come on. After they lost their religion, or when they were religious?
I never knew they lost their religion.
Yeah, they became normals.
I never followed Stryper like you did, but
Yeah.
I guess I could see that. Well, anyways, just a quick recap. Great White was on that, resurrection trail, like everyone was trying to resurrect that, I don't know, Damage career.
The point being that they were just over. Nobody cool liked them. Even uncool people knew they were over. So they're playing at some really shitty, small, divey place in Rhode Island.
They were doing the whole circuit of all those shitty clubs.
Yeah.
And so they were playing in Rhode Island, and
Just a rat trap.
their manager lit off these pyrotechnics. I guess they had some fireworks because, white trash love fireworks.
They'd strapped some foam to the inside of this shitty bar so it didn't wake up all the neighbors. I assume it's back in some neighborhood. This isn't some amphitheater, or stadium show.
No, this is a shitty club.
They taped foam to the ceiling and walls, and the pyrotechnics, fire hit the foam, and it immediately just went up in flame. And there's one door exiting this place, and every hesher in there, the uncoolest of the uncool heshers, because they're going to see this Great White Show. They just all jammed into this door, and nobody could get out, and 100 people died from being burned and being stampeded.
The nightclub fire actually claimed 100 lives. 100 heshers died.
I can't imagine this place held much more than 100 people.
It's probably kind of like
Maybe
Harpo's
200?
in Detroit. Remember Harpo's in Detroit?
No, it wasn't that big.
I thought it was bigger than that. I thought it was like a 200 venue nightclub.
200 person?
200 person.
Yeah, but Harpo's you could get 1,000 people in there. Anyways, this is minutia that nobody cares about.
It's just a rock club in Detroit. But anyways, this place could probably hold a couple hundred people, maybe at max. I highly doubt White Lion or Great White sold that many
Snake?
tickets.
What?
Yeah, I'm already getting them confused because they're that immemorable.
The shark. Just remember the shark.
Great White. Okay, after
Shark.
the shark. All right, that's a good mnemonic
fish
device
band.
there. But so what happened is the fireworks ignited the place. It erupted into flames. People panicked. There were no emergency exits.
No,
so
there was one
half
door
the people
out.
died from inhalation from that foam. The foam was toxic, and then the other half, the other 50 people were stampeded and crushed to death.
Yeah, and then I'm sure they were burned. Their bodies burned after they were all dead in there.
Well, I was thinking about this. It was just could you imagine a worse way to go? It's just we lost Dad at that Great White Show 2001. It's just dude.
It'd be a bad way for your dad to go, too. It's just not respectful.
But I was thinking about this, too. It's okay, so 100 heshers died at the Great White Show. It wasn't a great loss to society.
How did people get gas the next day?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, who was working at the gas stations? Well, but seriously, I was just I
bet you the meth market just took a plummet the next day.
Oh yeah, dude. There's probably a depletion of meth in Rhode Island.
Well, no, there's a surplus because
Well, yeah,
nobody
who was buying
there
it
to snort it up.
But I bet you it was difficult to find too.
Yeah, right. The dealers were good point.
Maybe that's why it was the fire became so inflamed. It was just they're so
Toxic
flammable.
meth chemicals,
toxic meth in their pockets or inside their bodies.
Probably.
But yeah, I was trying to think. Can you name 2 songs that Great White sang?
I'm thinking Rock Me.
Rock Me was one of them.
Not to be confused with Rock Me Like a Hurricane, which is another shit band, the Scorpions.
Yeah, but they're much more popular than Great White.
Yeah, probably.
But they had one hit.
Great White.
Yeah.
I can sort of think it's
Once Bitten, Twice Shy.
Oh, yeah,
I gave it away.
Wow, that was a horrible song.
Yeah, My, Once Bitten, Twice Shy.
Yeah, it's kind of bluesy crap.
A couple other lesser-known hits was that song White Trash Cookout. I don't know if you ever heard that
really?
one.
I don't remember that one.
Or Mullets on Fire. Do you ever hear that one?
Mm-hmm. I can remember the tune, but...
It was a rocker.
Yeah.
And my favorite is Burn Hesher Burn.
I think I had a single of that one.
Yeah, I think I made those up.
Songs just sound kind of foreboding or foreshadowing.
Yeah, they foreshadowed the event.
Maybe people should have realized and stayed away.
I think they debuted it that night. But you know what? the tragedy, I think the greatest tragedy of this whole mishap was none of the band members were killed.
No, yeah, I was trying to think of that.
Band
No.
member died.
But anyways, we forgot to say the point of the story, bringing the story out now, is the band manager. Did you say this? He got what?
The band manager lit off the pyrotechnics.
Yeah, but
so he got
was
4
convicted
years.
today. So that's why we're talking about this stupid story.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's been in trial for a long time. They've had witnesses, members of the families of the deceased.
4 years in
They're
prison, huh?
Testifying, and yeah, he was up for 10 years. The judge ended up giving him 4 years.
I wonder if he'll go to a prison where, you know, there's like some Aryan Brotherhood who's like have siblings who actually died in the fire. He's going to be in hell.
I think he's going to go to prison and people are going to be like, the band didn't die. We're going to rape you now.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, seriously,
He'll
dude.
get shivved.
But I guess if you saw that picture, he's tearful. He's sitting there just crying, very
Yeah, dude.
apologetic.
4 years is a long
But,
time.
you know, I was thinking about this at the same time. It's just like, you know, really, is this guy culpable for that? All he did was light the fireworks. They're just trying to pinpoint someone. They're trying to finger someone.
Who do you think they should arrest? The lead singer?
Dude, yeah, the band.
The Chinese dudes who made the fireworks?
The one crime that this manager really ever committed was trying to resurrect the career of that shitty band.
Yeah.
So for torturing our ears, he should have got 10 years in prison.
Also, whenever you go to a Great White show, since they're still alive, I still assume they're still going to tour, make sure you know where at least 2 exits are.
Yeah, definitely look for the fire exits.
Yeah. 2 of them.
But the last thing I'm going to say about this is I would have loved to have been at this trial. Because could you imagine the mullets that were in there? Because the members of the family, the family members that perished in the fire
Yeah.
were white trash. So could you imagine their extended family that all went to this trial?
Yeah. What if, you know, it'd be the worst for him if, you know, he got up on the stand to have his verdict read and he looks over at the jury box and every single person in the jury box has a mullet. He just obviously
knew he was screwed.
That didn't happen, because if that would have happened, he would have had the full 10 years.
He would have gotten the chair.
The chair.
Yeah, especially if White Lion died. All right, but yeah, and then
Great
one
White,
other,
dude.
Great White. God, dude, it's just like that band just sucks so bad. I can't remember. If they had a name like Kiss or Twisted Sister, I'd remember it.
Right.
But Great White. We need to move on. We have some great articles to get to. God, there are just so many to choose from. And I think last week you slaughtered me. So this week I'm going to go second.
Okay,
and
that's your choice.
let you have the floor. But people, just a quick recap of the show. The way Sick and Wrong works, it's competition between me and Lance. We both look through the internet to try to find the most disturbing article news happening of this week. We present them, the listeners vote, and the winner gets a case of beer. So last week you definitely won a case of beer with that German lady who planted the fetuses
In her flower pots.
in her flower
fish
pots.
tank.
But this week,
9 of them.
I think I'm going to take it. But here we are, article Lance Wackerly, podcast 19.
Well, I didn't have to look too hard for my article this week. And I don't know if this is going to disappoint people. It's not obscure, but it's all over the mainstream papers. But it happened just yesterday, and I got to talk about it.
But every so often you get something in the mainstream news that's just so sick and just so wrong that we have to do it on the show.
So in Chantilly, Virginia, every time I hear that, I think of the Big Bopper.
Chantilly lace.
Hello, baby. But now maybe I'll think of this story from now on, here on out. So this kid, 18, Michael Kennedy. It's also a bad week for the Kennedys. That other Representative Kennedy, not Ted, but the
that was
younger
drunk
one.
driving.
Yeah, drugged driving.
Oh yeah, he wasn't. I thought he was drunk and he was on pills.
Yeah, something like that. So this is another guy. I don't think there's any relation, but Michael Kennedy, 18, crouched down between 2 cop cars in the Chantilly police station. One of them.
Oh, I heard about this.
Yeah, I think everybody's heard of this.
Yeah,
But I'll get to
all over the news.
why I need to talk about it. And so he just popped out from between these cars and just started like firing round after round of bullets into all the cops that were out there.
Completely unprovoked, he just went over there.
No,
was like,
he's
I'm
just
going to go kill some cops.
laying in wait, like
Ambush.
yeah, like Charlie in Vietnam,
Jesus,
Man in
dude.
the black pajamas. So he had tons of fire. He had an AK-47, some kind of a high-powered rifle, and 5 handguns. So much for gun
Dude,
control.
he had a fucking arsenal.
I don't know how he's carrying them all.
Dude, how old is this kid?
18.
How the fuck does an 18-year-old get all those guns?
Yeah, that's what I said. So much for gun control. I guess it doesn't even do anything. If you can get that many guns and be 18 and have nobody apparently know about it.
Yeah, Jesus.
So he fired at one police officer. 4 officers returned fire, but before they just riddled his body with bullets, a detective was dead and a 3rd officer was wounded. They just just riddled his body with bullets.
This guy had a death wish. I don't think he planned on making it out of there alive.
Dude, he's whacked in some way. I don't think it's clear yet exactly what was wrong with him, but he had problems.
By the picture I saw today in the news, I think he was probably high on meth.
Well, no, I don't think so. Let me read some other parts of this. So his friends were like, he started making these jokes about shooting up a police station about a year ago, but we never took him seriously.
They always ignore the warning signs.
Yeah, but usually when somebody does something like this, the neighbors and the friends just say, we had no idea. But apparently he just talked about this and just nobody took him seriously.
Apparently he was cracking jokes.
Yeah.
I'd have loved to have heard
he started hoarding weapons and ammunition. That's obviously, we covered that. And talking increasingly of fighting zombies and aliens. And police, I guess.
Okay, maybe he was on acid.
Somebody else, his other friend, says he thought he was Jesus. Okay.
Schizophrenic.
Kennedy's parents last month had admitted him to a psychiatric center, but within hours he'd broken a window and escaped. Did I just say escaped? The word is escaped, everybody. I don't want to promote bad grammar, language.
If you're in a psychiatric hospital, don't they have bars on the windows?
This is probably one of those medium or minimum or voluntary type places. Yeah.
Like for the not violent
They don't
criminals.
have good... I don't think they have those good kind of psych wards that you see in the movies, like the padded room and the little window, and you put the guy in a straitjacket and you just toss him in and lock him up. I think
once again
they're all touchy-feely now.
To mention Silence of the Lambs again, I always picture psychiatric hospitals to look like Hannibal Lecter's tank.
Yeah, that's a myth, dude.
They're not like that?
His little cart that they put him on. Apparently that's what this guy needed. So what happened is he broke out and he carjacked somebody. They caught him, and then they threw him in jail. The family posted bond to get him out. Smart move.
How long ago did he carjack somebody?
A month.
Okay, so a month ago he carjacked somebody.
I read in a different article, not this one, doesn't say that, but then there were some other carjackings that they think he did in the time between. But so he was in jail. His family bailed him out, and they were just waiting for him to go to trial on May 24th. Apparently, they didn't keep a very good eye on him. Well, it's just one of the things you do for your psychotic kid who's awaiting trial that you got out of jail. You should probably keep an eye on what he's doing.
I think he was lacking in parental guidance.
Yeah,
might just be me. But
Kennedy never returned to the treatment center, but friends said he had been calmer in recent weeks. I don't know, it's like all relative. Well, he wasn't completely apeshit. He was a little calmer, so we thought everything was cool.
But the jokes were just building.
Yeah.
More and more jokes about shooting police officers.
Yeah, wielding weapons. Anyways, that's everything about the story that anybody knows. Like I said, one detective, Vicky O. Armel, 40, she was killed. Couple other cops wounded.
So were cops just walking out of the cop shop, out of the police station?
It's the parking lot where all their cruisers are. So cops are just coming in and going out all the time, And this guy just popped out and started shooting, and then they started shooting back.
I wonder how long he lasted.
Oh, not very long.
I doubt it. I mean, dude, there's the kid obviously had a death wish, but I mean, it's just like every cop in there has a gun.
He either had a death wish or he just was delusional and didn't know what was going on.
Blaze of glory.
But here's my angle to the story. Since this is a very, very big, blown up story and everybody's
widespread
reporting on it, it's not really something we'd always do on Sick and Wrong because, everybody's hearing about the story. But here's something that people might not hear, and I love this angle, and we bring it up all the time. So this kid had a MySpace page. Go figure. And he even had one of those short form MySpace web addresses, so you guys can find it really easy. It's www.myspace.com/act_I. ACT_ the letter I, all in lowercase letters. So, everybody go there before MySpace takes its page down, which could happen at any moment.
Yeah.
So the real funny thing about it is a ton of people have been commenting on his MySpace page since this has happened.
So they're leaving comments posthumously since he died?
Yeah, and you'd think, maybe, if you and I were to go and comment there, we'd say something like, this guy was a really sick fuck. Love the Sick and Wrong program,
Yeah.
right? Or wow, I can't believe this guy is such a nutcase.
As a matter of fact, I think we should do that.
Probably, but interestingly, the vast majority of the postings are from his friends. All these people who heard him saying that he wanted to shoot up a police station and he had all these guns, and they just were cool with it.
What amazes me is that the guy even had friends.
Oh yeah, it looks like he had a ton of friends, guys, girls. So
Because usually the popular kids don't go shoot cops.
let me just, this is, I encourage everybody to go there because it's just hours of entertainment reading through all these comments. But I just picked out a couple of the more interesting ones to me. Some guy, they're going to have a candlelight vigil for him.
A candlelight vigil.
And they say, please let us know who's going to come so we can all remember Kennedy for the great friend he was. Okay,
Yeah, I wonder how many
guy.
cops are going to go to that one.
Here's another person says, I don't care what they're saying. The news can eat shit and die. Okay, guy.
That's like his best friend.
He talks about how he used to talk to this guy at 3 a.m. For hours on end about philosophy, music, and the most random things like murdering people, I guess. And then the last
Shooting up
there's
a
bunch
police
of,
station.
Yeah, there's a bunch of other stuff. But that person ends with, "I wish I could have gotten to know you better, Mike Kennedy." If this was me and I knew this kid, I'd be saying, I'm really sad. I'm disappointed that I knew you at all.
Exactly.
Been
But, so,
one of the lowlights of my life was knowing
so
you.
are there pictures on this MySpace page of this kid?
Yeah, there's pictures, but he seems to put a bandana around his face when he takes
Oh,
his
so you
his
can't
MySpace.
actually see his face.
A couple of his friends posted pictures of him just normally. So
Was he a
does-
fat kid? Was he like one of those skinny
he's a little
Columbine-looking kids?
chunky, but not too fat. But he's got the whole camo and wearing black.
Was he wearing
and,
black and spikes?
Yeah, not too many spikes, but he just looked like a troublemaker.
What
to
kind of
me,
music- what
but
kind of
apparently
music
a lot
did
of
he
people love
listen to?
him. Let me get to it. 2 more of these comments, maybe 3.
Great White.
Some girl goes on forever. Just one of those things that some girl would write in a yearbook that takes up fucking 3 pages. So I'm not
Remember
going to
that
read
one
it all.
time at band camp?
But she ends with, "You will be terribly missed, Kennedy." The cops didn't miss him, thankfully.
Dude,
But-
why
but
are they making this kid a martyr?
I don't. That's what's so funny.
I don't
it's
get it.
inexplicable. But let me tell you what this girl ends with her P.S. P.S. I'm sorry for slapping you in the face when you called me fat sophomore year. So you gotta, even though she writes all this stuff, you gotta believe that high school chick who he called fat, she probably feels a little bit good about the fact that
Yeah,
he was
dude, she
shot to
has to have a
death.
little bit of pleasure in there. She's deriving a little bit of pleasure from this.
Another guy. These are just some really quick.
It's so great.
There's
You're
some
fat.
really quick ones that I thought were funny. Another guy writes, "Speculation and misunderstanding will forever surround the events of yesterday." Well, I hope not.
Dude,
I
what-
think they kind of figured out what happened. Exactly.
What's speculative about this?
Nothing.
The kid drove to a police
There's
station
tons of-
and opened fire on cops.
Tons of witnesses. They seem to have a pretty good understanding of what happened.
But are these kids like gas huffers? I just don't get it.
Another chick writes, kind of similar to the earlier one.
think they're fat.
I'm sorry I've known you since middle school, but didn't know you any better. It just defies logic. I would say completely opposite if I were her.
Dude,
but
we're leaving a comment on that page before it gets taken down.
do you think we're just heartless? Is that why we don't understand these people? Or
Dude, this kid is a cold-blooded murderer. And I just don't understand these comments here. I mean,
but everybody
whatever.
go check it out. MySpace.com/act_I.
Definitely going to
The
have to
letter
check that
I.
out. Well, on the sick and wrong scale, I guess I wouldn't call the article very sick.
It's
but
definitely he's
I would
sick.
call it wrong.
He's sick. He's wrong. But it's not. It doesn't have that.
It's the
extra.
creativity of the tie-in.
Right.
That's
the
what
tie-in.
I think I'm going to have to give it a 7.5 for, is because you tied it in with that MySpace page.
A lot of our show is about MySpace.
Yeah, but it's the
Whatever.
creative
Everybody's
tie-in.
into MySpace. So
It's all interrelated.
okay, I'm giving it 7.9.
7.9.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good.
It would have gotten 8 if he would have been naked or something.
Yeah, if
You
you'd
know,
have been naked.
that's what I'm talking about. The extra sick and wrong, or if he would have also flung his feces at the cops or something like that.
Or if he would have shot up like a preschool,
yeah.
and then the preschool teachers brought out their sawed-off shotguns and took him down. That could be. And there was feces being thrown.
The world could be so much cooler than it is.
Yes, in the sick and wrong world.
But, we deal the cards we play with the cards we're dealt. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Well, I don't know if you're going to be able to hang with me today, Lance. And I don't really want to pull my punches here. Because
don't, because I've creamed you the past 2 or 3 weeks.
You creamed me the past couple weeks.
Nobody's asking you to pull punches. Let's go.
I don't have any creative MySpace tie-ins. Maybe, perhaps, I'll have to check it out. But this is a pretty good article. Here's my article for Podcast 19. Headline: Police. Toddler beaten, sexually assaulted.
Toddler? What classifies as a toddler?
2-year-old.
Oh, my God.
Stepfather arrested in this case. This happened in Kansas City, Missouri. A 2-year-old girl is fighting for her life after being beaten senseless and sexually assaulted and kicked in the head this past Tuesday. The girl's stepfather was charged in the case. Police said he later confessed to the crimes and, get this, admitted to having an anger control problem.
Yeah, maybe.
As hard as that is to believe, this was an angry man. At first, hospital officials were told the toddler fell out of a chair, but the girl's injuries were inconsistent with that story.
So she fell out of a chair and, hit her vagina on something and then landed on her head?
Yes, exactly.
That's the story?
That big bashed-in head, it was a really high chair.
Right.
It was about 10 feet up in the air. But that's kind of funny. It's just like, of all the explanations that this guy could give, it's just like, she fell out of a chair. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
He's a genius.
Yeah, this guy's definitely very quick. I guess his name is Paul Turner, 28-year-old man. He married the child's mother last month, so the honeymoon. Barely past the honeymoon
I guess it is over, though, technically.
I don't think he liked the kid very much.
Isn't that the technical end of a honeymoon, when you bash in your wife's
when you
kid's
practically,
head?
murder your wife's kid? Yeah, I could see that maybe halting the marriage somewhat. I guess Turner told investigators that while his wife was at work Monday, he became angry with the toddler for pouring water on the TV. Judging by the picture, I don't think it was water. It was probably his 40. But you got to go look at the picture. I don't know, people out there, if you type in maybe toddler beaten, sexually assaulted, Kansas City, Missouri, you'll see a great picture of this dude. I mean, he's got I don't even know what you call this. It's like braids. The black guy's got these crazy braids coming out of his hair.
I don't know what you call those.
Dookie braids or something. Like remember that band Crisscross?
Yeah, that type of hair?
Yeah,
that's
that kind of hair. I didn't even know people still had that. But then again, it's Kansas City, Missouri. I guess Turner said that he grabbed the girl and shook her violently. Then he said he swung the victim off the ground by her ankles and smashed her on the floor a couple times. So this dude picked up that 2-year-old and was swinging her around like a bat.
He's like a caveman. What's his problem?
And this is my favorite quote that he said.
Evolve to the current, time period, please.
He also said he, quote unquote, smacked the living crap out of her.
That's his statement to the police?
That's his statement to the police during the confession. And actually, as I divulge some more of the details here, he literally did smack the living crap out of her. I guess after the beatdown, he had to change her soiled diaper. And as he was changing
So he is a modern guy, modern type father. He's willing to do that sort of thing.
Well, he's a stay-at-home dad.
Traditionally, the role of women was to change the diapers, but he's willing to do that. So
he's not the breadwinner of this family.
He's freaking unemployed.
So, he told police that, he had to change her soiled diaper after the beating. And while changing her diaper, a part of his body, quote unquote, made a mistake. And he accidentally had intercourse with a toddler.
Whoops.
Whoa, dude, how did that get in there? I just don't understand that. It's like, could you imagine being the police hearing this line of bullshit? It's just like, so you made a mistake? He was staring at the kid's shit encrusted ass and was like, well, a part of my body just kind of made a mistake.
Slipped in.
It's got a mind of its own. Yeah, I don't know. Turner said he then ended the intercourse by kicking the child in the head because she wouldn't wake up. I don't know. Dude.
I think this guy needs to go on Dr. Phil and get some better parenting skills. Or Nanny 911, you know that show?
Apparently, he just doesn't seem to be very caring. I mean, if it's just me.
So his wife's at work, his new wife. He's at home because the fucker doesn't have a job.
Babysitting.
Because he doesn't have a job. He's just at home. He's not babysitting. I wonder if he was watching, like, Jerry Springer. You know?
When the kid poured the beer on the TV?
So something fucked up is happening on Jerry Springer, and then he decides to bring his own fucked up activities, right into the home.
Well, he did mention before that he has an anger management problem. I think he also has a pedophilia problem as well.
Yeah, hopefully he'll have a I'm in jail problem for a long time.
I'm in jail being somebody's bitch problem.
Yeah, that'll be his new problem. Maybe he can get the other problems cleared up while he deals with that problem.
So later he brought the severely injured girl to a nearby Walmart to meet his wife after work. When the 18-year-old mother saw her daughter's condition, she immediately called 911, and they took her to the hospital, where he said that the toddler fell out of a chair, and the hospital called the police. I guess the blunt force trauma to her head is massive, and this is from the Sergeant Michael Hicks. That's indicative of the anger he told us about that he felt. All child abuses are severe. This one just happens to be more severe because of the sexual abuse that's incorporated with the severe head trauma. How very perceptive.
I think this guy might be the sickest fuck we've ever talked about.
Dude, I was sitting here reading this, and I was like,
he's worse than a German cannibal.
Dude, this guy is such a sick fuck. This is a 2-year-old little girl, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, and people beat on their kids all the time. I'm not condoning that, but this guy is just completely oblivious to what he's doing.
Unfortunately, domestic abuse is widespread, especially in this country. But yet, this dude not only beat the shit out of the girl, he raped her.
And then he doesn't apparently even know what he did wrong because he just takes the kid to meet his wife at the Walmart, and then she's the one who has to say, "What the fuck did you do to the kid?"
Could you imagine?
We gotta call the ambulance.
In the car, and he's just like, "I didn't leave the kid that way." I wonder what he said to his wife.
Probably exactly what he said to the cops.
I put her in the chair, and she fell out, dear.
Yeah. I just thought I'd bring her here, and you'd take care of it.
And I guess one of their neighbors was like, I just can't believe it. I just can't believe it. She lives downstairs with her 4-year-old daughter. She also said that he's not going to babysit her daughter anymore.
Oh, anymore? So he did previously.
I'm lying about that.
Oh.
I don't think this woman would ever let this guy babysit his kid.
Yeah, and I love how she said she can't believe it. Like, I'm sure this guy was a model neighbor. I'm sure he had no other, antisocial tendencies.
Dude, no, seriously, right now, I'd like to crown this guy the sickest fuck ever to be on Sick and Wrong.
Yeah, and then that leaves us up to what kind of score does that lead to?
Before we get to scoring, he was charged with 4 counts of first-degree assault, 6 counts of endangering the welfare of a child, 2 counts of child abuse, 1 count of forcible sodomy, and 1 count of statutory sodomy. So, rest assured, this guy is going to be somebody's bitch.
Well, and the kid could die, and then he's got murder.
So I think that, this guy's definitely going to be somebody's bitch. Hopefully. I don't know. But in the Sick and Wrong scale, dude, I think I might almost have to give this a perfect score. Maybe a 9.8.
9.9.
9.9?
He's definitely, in my mind, the sickest guy we've ever talked about.
I was reading this, and I was just like, you know what, dude? This is just turning my stomach because this guy is such an egregious crime that it's sickening.
Yeah.
It's so sick and so wrong.
And the guy's just such an idiot.
She fell out of a chair is the best he could say.
Yeah.
Okay, on that score, on that note, I'm going to have to give it a 9.9. I agree with you. But anyways, we open this up to the Sick and Wrong listening audience. Send us an email, sickandwrongpodcast@hotmail.com. Vote as to which article you find the most personally repulsive. Hopefully it'll be mine.
And I'm feeling that next week we're going to really need those listener contributions because it's going to be hard to follow this week up. This was a very intense week.
Move on with the show here. Lance, we've been getting so many emails that it's kind of hard to get to all of them. sickandwrongpodcast@hotmail.com. I know now we have correspondence in 2 countries, England and Sweden, and we're definitely open to correspondence in some other European countries or Asian countries.
Yeah.
Or actually, I wouldn't mind getting an Iranian correspondent because I bet you there's a lot of sick and wrong stuff that happens over there.
Yeah, you know what, though? I was thinking about that earlier today, and it's hard to do that stuff because you look at the stuff, you look at articles out of the Middle East, and it'll say, like, 7 beheadings yesterday, and you don't really think it's sick because it's just so normal
and
for that area.
But isn't it just kind of sick to think that that's normal?
Yeah.
It's just like beheadings is a common occurrence over there.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, yeah, someone's beheaded. Oh, well, whatever.
If that happened in Omaha, we definitely have it on. We do the story on the show. But over there, it's just par for the course.
We got the one final email here is another big fan in the UK. I love this guy's name, too. It's Reg. He did send us an extraordinary article. He sent us a couple. I'm just going to quickly get through this one. Headline, Cat Rapes Woman After Performing Oral Sex on Her. Once again, a cat rapes a woman. I think this happened in Russia, judging by their names, but 2 women attempted to experience sexual pleasure from intimate contact with a cat. The weird endeavor ended rather sad for one of the women. She was hospitalized with severe genital injuries.
I assume the cat wasn't declawed.
Yeah, I think the cat had its claws. What happened is the woman suffered unexpected bleeding between her legs, and when she went to the hospital, there were streaks of blood just dripping down her legs. I guess she was at home. Her husband goes away for work frequently. He was out of town. She was bored. Decided to visit her friend Vera. Vera is definitely an adventurous lass. They're drinking wine, and she started talking about her penchant for having sex with her cat. And one of the things she said, like as they were talking, as they were getting drunk, she was saying that what she does is she puts valerian, I think it's called, valerian, like herb. A liquid. Well, it's kind of the same herb as an ingredient of catnip.
Oh, man.
And so she puts this like on her clitoris, like on her vagina, and lets the cat lick it with its hairy tongue. And apparently it brings her to ecstasy. And so her friend Svetlana was like, okay, you talked me into it. I think I'll give that a go. And so she puts a little valerian down there, but apparently she used a bit too much. When the cat started licking valerian off of Svetlana, something happened to the animal.
The cat done lost his mind.
He started licking the liquid away, but all of a sudden he seized the genitals of the poor woman with his claws and teeth. She screamed, tried to push the fierce cat away from her, but the cat wouldn't let go. He just kept biting and scratching, till eventually I think he ripped her clitoris off. Clitorectomy by cat. And so what happened is she went to the hospital, and when her husband found out about it, he was so upset that his wife preferred having oral sex with a cat that he kicked her out of the house, and she has to live with her mom now.
He wasn't upset that she didn't have a pussy anymore? Well, that's a poor choice of words.
She was lacking a pussy.
Well, 2 pussies.
Yeah, 2 pussies now. I guess it's I was thinking about that. It's got to be insulting for a husband to find out that his wife prefers oral from the cat than from him.
Yeah. He must really be bad.
But then at the same time, it's better than her screwing the milkman.
Yeah.
I'd rather have her, get licked by the dog.
I'd like to say, foreign women, do we have to teach you everything? Do you have to look to the United States for all types of knowledge? Peanut butter and a dog.
Exactly. Peanut butter dog.
Not catnip cat.
Yeah.
That combination doesn't work.
The tongue's not as hairy, and there's no claws.
Dogs don't have claws.
Well, they have claws,
they have nails,
but they don't
have claws.
And like catnip is like cocaine for a cat. So I don't know. Take it from Lance Wackerly, foreign ladies, peanut butter and a dog. On that note, Ed, we're going to have to wrap up Podcast 19 here. Stay tuned for Podcast 20 coming out next week. And as always, send in your own Sick and Wrong stories, comments, concerns, sickandwrongpodcast@hotmail.com. Also, if you get a chance, give us a vote at iTunes. We're on iTunes. Just do a search for Sick and Wrong, or go check out Podcast Alley or the podcast directories. Until next week, take it sleazy.
I got to go find some Skippy and the neighbor's beagle. Later.